All right. So, Doom Eternal has now been updated with Denuvo. Now, I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm not surprised by jack shit here because I keep telling people the problem with these new AAA titles is that they're not being made in good faith. And I have a lot of stuff I could go on about how many people have been capping to me about oh my god, Doom Eternal, it's so great, oh, it's so good, just sucking the game off and all this other shit. I'm gonna try to keep it maybe within an hour. Or maybe preferably 30 minutes, but let's just dig into this, right? So Doom Eternal has this new anti-cheat. Well, not new, right? Because we've been talking about Denuvo forever. So here's what Bethesda did, and this is why, like, I'm shaking my head, dude. How could you not know something was going to be wrong with a fucking Bethesda game, right? So Bethesda, a shit publisher with a bad track record, releases this. I almost kind of want to say mediocre, right? Because I know some people are going to write the video off. It's like, oh, he admitted that he didn't even play Doom Eternal. He hasn't even played a Doom game, right? Like, I'm not trying to tell you that the game is outright shit. But what I am telling you is that even before this Denuvo thing happened, scores for the game, like 7.5 user score for PC, what was it, a 7.9 or for fucking PS4 or some shit? Like, this game's user score is not as high as it ought to be for a game that was hyped up to this degree. People are complaining about the Marauder and all this other shit. People are complaining about the game being over designed crap. The ammo is too low. The game is frustrating. You can say that, well, objectively the game is good. The game is objectively good. It's because it's like well made. Even, I mean, yeah, the game has a whole bunch of soft lock issues, and playing the game on PC at the highest settings can corrupt your fucking save data or whatever. It makes the game shut down because it can't even run at high settings despite whatever type of computer that you're using. But the game is a high quality game objectively, and that's just your opinion, right? So, like, do I really need to play the game to tell you what's wrong with it? Because you're just gonna write off whatever I say as my opinion anyway, and we're just going to talk about objectivity. And if we're going to talk about objectivity, the game is kind of just mediocre. I mean, unless you want to talk about graphics, or whether or not the graphics and the art direction is good, that's an opinion, right? So who even fucking cares? You people make up reasons. You just cap for these companies. You just let them do whatever they want. You don't have any standards. You're just like, whatever, whatever. You're just a hater. You're just a hater. Blah blah blah. And then you get hit with Denuvo. It's like you get what you fucking deserve. That's why I don't have any sympathy regarding to this issue, right? You can say that, well, the video title was clickbait because, like, this is about the Denuvo. You said the game was trash. Like, yeah, I'm not going to outright tell you that a game that I never played is completely and 100% trash. But when I say that Doom Eternal is triple A trash, what I'm actually trying to communicate to you is everything around the game, right? The state of the game, it being buggy, not working right, and then putting Denuvo in after the fact. It's a scummy, a bad faith game. Doom Eternal is what I describe when it's one of the games I'm describing when I talk about games made in bad faith. Games that are not made to be good, that are not made to actually be entertaining, right? They can be entertaining. You can enjoy those games, but at the end of the day, their end result, right? The end goal is to do dumb shit like install Denuvo in a game a month after it comes out. So the game has Denuvo in it, right? And what Denuvo does is that it's basically fucking malware. You can look it up yourself. I'm not gonna explain the ins and outs of Denuvo, right? But like I said earlier, like you look at the scores, 7.9 for fucking a Doom on PS4, 7.6 for on Xbox One, and what was it? Stadia had like the highest one. That's the only one that goes up into 8. I think it was an 8 point. It's an 8.3. All right, so yeah, on Stadia, right? And even this is still getting negative reviews. point that I'm making by using that, well, that's just people's opinions. Yeah, but where's that opinion coming from? This game was not stellar even before the Denuvo issue happened. And I still need to check if dare I speak his name? I don't know. Like, if you go through my videos, you can see that I had this debate with I'll just call him Ryan for short, about the state of video games, and we ended up talking about shit that wasn't really originally what I wanted to talk about anyway. It wasn't like the worst discussion ever. I noticed that I got a lot of downvotes for that video for no fucking reason. I got 8 downvotes, only 1 upvote, and I know the upvote came from one of my friends, so let's just say it was 8 downvotes. Look, I know that the Miss ZZ video was kind of pushing it with 4.5 hours of over analyzing 30 minutes of dialogue when I probably could have cut the entire last hour of it out. But if me doing a podcast style debate, more like a discussion with someone in a very non argumentative tone, is worth 4 dislikes, yet I'm the one who's fanboying for, what was it? Bomb Fetty. I can't even remember the dude's fucking name because I only learned about his content through Ryan. If that's worth 8 dislikes, can we just admit that the problem is fanboyism? That you guys aren't listening to anything that I'm saying and you only care about whether or not you agree with the premise of my video before you watch it, and that's the reason why you downvote the shit that I say? Watch this video get surprisingly more positive reception now that, yeah, he's talking about the Denuvo. Yeah, I agree the Denuvo thing is super fucking bad, and yet now that the game is out and we know it's overrated hog shit, yeah, now all of a sudden I agree with it because, I made that video about Mortal Kombat, and you guys were riding my dick on that. Well, I appreciate it, right? I appreciate the sweet release of life juices from my cock from the 1,000 views, like 1K and a half views, and 69 likes or whatever. Well, that's cool and all. I still am not. I'm not buying that there's any content retention. So before you say anything stupid in the comment section, just beware of the fact that I'm paying attention to the fact that you're not actually listening to anything that I'm saying, right? So, like I've yet to check and see if Ryan or Griffin Gaming or any of these other people who've hyped up the shit out of this game have said anything about the Denuvo issue. I guess I could look at it after the fact. I kind of want to stay on topic because if I start typing into the browser, people are going to bitch about how, oh, I want to see you type through shit but you need to fix your editing. All right, look. I had an idea for a video about the decline, the objective decline of gaming. I'll save the editing for that when I can get somebody to help me with the research, or I can do the research on my own. Like one of my friends basically told me a whole bunch of shit about games that I didn't really know about that would be helpful for that type of video. So either I have to do it the hard way, or he gives me the information and I do it the easy way, and that's the team of people I need to prove something that really only one person is necessary to elaborate on. But like I said, I'm getting off topic. But the point I'm trying to get at is people who hyped up this game, I'm not hearing about them talking about this issue. And like as you can see here on the Steam page, right? Recent reviews for Doom Eternal on PC have been mixed. And it's because people are review bombing the game. And what did the review bomb say? Just Denuvo, right? Can't get it to run no matter what I try, even though my PC should be more than powerful enough. Oh, and fucks Bethesda for Denuvo. Mandatory installation of a security vulnerability in order to continue using the product. Denuvo anti-cheat has kernel access for no good reason, and frankly, anyone with half a brain should not install such a thing on their system. Wait until they undo some of the changes in the first major patch. I lost all my save data and it stutters a lot more than before the patch. Be wary, we might lose our saves again. They nerfed ground hazards needlessly. They added a kernel level anti-cheat DRM Denuvo. Even though I have yet to encounter or hear about hackers and the game was leaked DRM free day one. How can such a great game be dragged down by such incompetence? I think this might be the first title stripped away from my personal Game of the Year contenders. This is a positive review. Look, we're focusing on the negative reviews, okay? Obviously, this is a negative channel. Obviously, I'm just a hater, so let's just skip over the positivity, right? Uninstalling forever. Good job, Bethesda. Yet another failure. I did not pay $60 to install kernel level software on my PC. Installing rootkit Denuvo to play single player? No thanks. Kernel level zero access anti-cheat Denuvo forced in single player. Uninstalled this malware until this is removed. How hard was it to not install a rootkit? Good job, Bethesda. Everything you touch turns into garbage. And I'm sure the list goes on and on and on. I wanted Doom, not spyware. Latest update forces you to add Denuvo anti-cheat and extremely dodgy always-on Windows service with full access to your PC. Many antivirus programs quite rightfully detect it as a virus. You cannot play the game even in single player without installing it. Since I refuse to allow that on my PC, the update has effectively locked me out of a game I just recently bought. Avoid until they sort out this mess, if ever. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. The game surprisingly was released without Denuvo. That should have been your first sign, dude. Like, how many games come out without Denuvo, right? I don't really pay attention to that stuff because I only play on PC. If I ever got a Doom game like Doom 2016, like I originally intended to get that game, but now I'm rethinking where I not actually even be bothered. I gotta play at least one Doom game though. Doom game though, right? I do want to play a Doom game. Just so I can have that notch under my belt. You're talking about Doom and you never played any of the Doom games. Yeah. All right, look, I'll play Doom 64 or some shit after I'm done making this video, right? If you can give me a working emulation of Doom 64, I'll play that. But point that I'm getting at is what these developers, what I'm noticing the pattern that they're doing right now is that they release a game with all the little bells and whistles. They got your collector's edition. It's like, oh yeah, it's lit now, it's lit. But they will purposely leave out the stuff that they know people don't like or complain about, and then wait till after all the initial sales are done. Because think about what they've done. They got all their initial sales in the first month of the game's release, and now they put in Denuvo. In the reality, I don't think I need a citation to prove the fucking obvious. But if you bitch hard enough, I guess I might feel compelled to do that, or I might tell you to eat shit and go about the rest of my day because it's really not necessary. But I think it goes without saying that games, I would say just altogether, not even generally, right? Just games, period, make all their initial sales on the day of release. This is why pre-orders are such a big deal for developers because they want to lock in as many purchases as possible. Because a game tends not to have longevity like that unless your name is Grand Theft Auto 5. You're not selling copies over and over and over again throughout your product's lifespan. The game comes out, there's all the hype, we're doing our dance, oh man, the commercials, it's so hype, and then after the first month or so of release, the sales start to tamper down. People start to buy the game secondhand from GameStop or whatever, and then it just kind of peters out. It's not that a game will never sell any copies anymore, but if a game sells, let's say, 3 million copies, the first 2.5 million of those copies, let's say, would be the first month of release, and the other zero point 0.5 million is everything after the fact, however many years later, right? Just to kind of show an example. And that's why it's important for games to make a good, strong impression, a strong first impression when they come out. A similar issue happened with Crash Team Racing. If you don't remember that game, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel came out without microtransactions, and a lot of reviews actually praised the game for not including microtransactions and having reasonable goals for the Grand Prix and stuff like that in the game. And then a month or so after release, they added in the shop, and the microtransactions came into the game with the Wampa coins and all that other kind of stuff. And people were suspicious about that even when the game first came out because they saw the Wampa coin system. Was wondering, are they gonna charge for extra Wampa coins to get all the extra stuff in the game? I mean, I'm sure they won't do that, right? Because they didn't do that out of the gate, and then they added it anyway. Even I personally had a story similar to that. And this is part of the reason why I don't buy a lot of games or really games at all anymore on Steam, because I think Steam is kind of bullshit. And I could go into detail about why, but I'm just going to share my own personal story since it's relevant to this and try to keep things on track, right? So, since I didn't have a PS4 at the time, and they didn't make the game for PS3, only for modern consoles, I figured, well, I gotta get Sonic Mania, right? So I pre-ordered Sonic Mania on Steam because it's Sonic Mania and I'm a huge Sonic fan, and I really wanted to get the game. Right? So I got the game, pre-ordered it, and it didn't have Denuvo in it, right? Until it was delayed. And we were worried that why are they delaying the game? And people were saying there's this rumor go around that they're delaying the game to install the Denuvo anti cheat. And it's one of those things like you had to be there, but it turns out that was the truth. They delayed our version of the game to put in Denuvo, and I was kind of pissed off because it's like I can still play the game, right? But now Denuvo is on my computer because I want to play Sonic Mania. I can't even spend $20 on a game without you sneaking Denuvo into the game. So, some people tried to cancel their pre-orders, but as a consolation prize, our pre-order bonus, right, was to get access to Sonic the Hedgehog 1 through this like Sega Genesis collection thing that they had. Right. So if you played that, right, you have that. That was considered part of your game purchase. So you play through Sonic the Hedgehog or whatever, or I think just owning it, right? Um, I want to say I don't think you even have to play it. Just having that actually locked you in and made it so that you could not refund your money for that purchase. So now you were stuck with Sonic Mania. Sure, that's the game you want to play, but you're stuck with the Denuvo. Now you have to accept the Denuvo. And that's exactly what Bethesda has done with this game. They released Doom Eternal. It got all the hype. They got all the positive reviews, right? You scroll back up here. I know you guys are probably tired of staring at Doom Guy's mug, right? So, very positive. People are loving the game. They're Seraphim Saber, fucking rip and tear. They're having all this fun with the game, right? Even though the review scores, like I mentioned, have tapered off. People are saying that the game is actually kind of shit, over-designed, scammering for ammo. Maybe it's too hard. Maybe these guys just suck. But it has I forgot what this guy's name was. I have to look at back at his channel. I apologize, because I am in fact stealing this from him. But he described this thing here, this bar here, as the uh-oh curve, as far as them having a large number of negative reviews compared to the positive reviews, but not a lot in between. Obviously, it's going to be inflated for the PC version, considering the state that it's in right now. With 400 good reviews and then 222 bad reviews, and some of those are going to be coming from up. Oh fuck! It changed real time. Hey, it changed real time to 7.4. It's in the yellow, baby. The PC version is in the yellow, baby. And the worst part about it is that isn't even too far off from what like the Xbox One and PS4 versions are in terms of their review scores. Like, bruh. But yeah, point being is that it's one of those love it or hate it games, and that would indicate that maybe the positive aspect of the game is being inflated. We have a similar issue going on right now with The Last of Us 2, a game that you people should stop bitching about. I'll do a video about why you're all full of shit, and people only care about the story and nothing about the gameplay, which is shown to be completely unchanged. But the thing about they about the reviews, right? About people have been talking about paid reviewers and all this stuff before in the past, because it inflates this image that the game is great, and if a general consensus the game's pretty good, then you'll buy the game too because everyone else thinks it's good. It's that whole rule by majority type of logic, which in a way makes sense, right? Because I mean, like, if 90% of the people who play a game or eat a food or do whatever think that this is great or this is good, or 90% people believe this or that, of course the outliner is going to be ostracized or dismissed or whatever. It's like, oh, that's probably not true, right? Even if it is true, even if Galileo was fucking right, you'd probably be forgiven for not believing him based on the majority. It doesn't mean that the majority is ever truly right, right? Majority rules is not a logical way of thinking, but just think about in the grand scheme of things, right? Like, and people tell me this all the time because I get labeled as a contrarian because I have so many negative opinions on video games. A lot of popular video games too, like Final Fantasy VII is overrated. What'd you say about Final Fantasy VII, you piece of shit, right? But if a lot of people think something, and you're like the only guy that thinks otherwise, you could be a genius among idiots, or there could be a reason why everybody else thinks that but you, right? And that's why inflating review scores works. That's why it's important for companies to try to maintain a positive image of their brand, because the more positive a perception that they build for their product, the more likely people are to buy it. And the less likely it is someone like me coming in to tell you, hey, Doom Eternal is AAA trash. It's garbage. It's garbage. You're not going to listen to me because there's so many other voices shouting us out that it's like, bruh, he's just he's just a hater. He's just the next Young Defiant, so he cares what he thinks, right? So when you consider that, companies have an incentive to do stuff like that, and we're talking about that with The Last of Us 2, um, I'm not saying that these are fake reviews down here about the game, right? Like, I have no way of proving that they inflated the scores, but it does beg the question as to where negative reviews or any kind of negative perception of the game comes from. And that's often met with dismissal, and just attacks by fanboys and stuff, instead of acknowledging that, well, I mean, that's just your opinion. Where does that opinion come from, right? What about this game would lead somebody to have a negative opinion about it, right? You can have differing interpretations of a game, but when a vocal increasingly vocal amount of people are complaining about the Marauder or this about the game, and they did this or that, it's not that great. I'm not really seeing the connection. This game still plays like it roughly the same it did like 20 years ago with an air dash. Like, I didn't pay $60 just for a game from 1990 fucking one, or no, 93. I think this came out in 1993. Yeah, or a game from 1993. Like, I'm not seeing the point, right? You have to actually consider that if you want to have an honest discussion about how a game plays and how it makes players, feel. Assuming you give a shit about how your player base perceives your product, right? Or whether or not you, as a consumer, want more consistently good games, you should put developers like, or not developers, but publishers, right? I'm about to talk shit about Bethesda, but you should put developers like id Software and publishers like Bethesda to a higher standard. And yet here we are, just sipping up Todd Howard's sweet little lies. It's a it's a big game, it's a big meme, it's this big joke. But here you are playing a game with fucking Denuvo in it, and now we have all these people with their videos. Oh, the Denuvo dabbling. Oh, the Denuvo anti-cheat review bar. They're putting in the Denuvo anti-cheat. You get what you fucking deserve. How could you not expect Bethesda? Bethesda. Do you not recognize Bethesda and the shit that their name has been attached to? How could you not expect that? And I'm very curious to see, how many people who are hyping up this game, right? When it was getting ready to be released, how many of these people are actually going to talk about this and actually admit that maybe the game wasn't that great. Maybe we should be careful about having blind faith in a company and just assuming that the game will be great. And again, you probably got into this part of the video. Well, okay, you didn't get to this part of the video because you're not listening to me, right? Because I'm boring and my editing is bad, right? And I probably need to fix my audio, right? Because oh my god, the audio, right? Listen, there's some mic torture for you guys, right? But point is, right? Assuming you got to this point in the video, which you likely did not, you probably are thinking to yourself, well, this guy said that the game is AAA trash, but it's like, AAA games are the only games that really do this shit, right? I mean, unless we want to talk about the culling, it's like, who cares about the culling? You don't play that fucking game, right? I don't give a shit about that, right? But let's talk about games that people actually fucking play. Like, don't obfuscate shit just to ride corporate cock. Don't play dumb. AAA companies continue to rely on pre-orders, microtransactions, and scummy DRM practices and all these other things to manage decline. There is a decline in gaming when it comes to not just how these games are made, but how these games are working financially. Like I said, I'm willing to put in the effort to make a constructive, well edited video talking about that, but I prompt you to look into some of that stuff yourself. Like, let's really look at the game sales, right? Because it's not like games don't make money. It's just that companies are coming out saying, like, what was it, Black Ops 4 or whatever, one of the Call of Duty's games. You've got Activision and shit coming out and saying that the game didn't make sales expectations. It's like, how does a game make millions of dollars and not meet sales expectations? Well, when it costs $4 million and it only brings back three, you kind of lost $1 million. So yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? But it's like, why do they feel the need to do scummy shit like put Denuvo into a game when they don't have to? They didn't have to do that. The game came out without Denuvo. Everything was fine. Again, I haven't played it, and I've never played a Doom game before, so I can't say that I hate Doom as a franchise, and I don't hate stuff just because other people like it. I actually had some interest in getting Doom Eternal. I was just gonna get Doom 2016 first, and maybe play an old Doom game just to see if it was the type of game I would like, because it didn't look like a bad game, right? It seemed like it was okay. But for what you're getting, right, this okay game, we're getting a lot of okay games. Your people say, "Oh, Resident Evil 3, it's so disappointing. It's so short." I don't know. For $40, that probably would have been okay, but for $60, that might have been a bit much. That's another video in of itself, right? Getting off topic again. That you people are probably demanding. We're probably demanding a little bit too much. We probably have unrealistic expectations for these games, and that's another part of the fucking problem. But people are, we're bitching and moaning about how average these fucking games are. You're getting all these average ass games, but like, how do I put this, right? They couldn't leave Denuvo out of a Doom game. Do I really need to elaborate on that? Like, this another installment in this old ass, classic shooter series, this rip and tear series, is like arcadish, almost like fucking shooter where you tear zombies and hell monsters apart. Just my chainsaw, right? I gotta put Denuvo in that, even though everyone already fucking bought the game. So like, and let this be a lesson to you too, that anyone who bullshits you and tells you that Denuvo is for stopping piracy, notice how they're pushing it as like anti cheat and shit. They released a DRM free version of this goddamn game that had basically a free copy of the game in it, and the game still sold. So unless the game did not meet sales expectations because too many people pirated on PC, I don't see why not only are PC players not entitled to a game that actually fucking works, they have to sit up here and deal with Denuvo when they already bought your product. It only hurts the people. It only hurts buying paying customers, dude. And people who don't want the DRM, we already have a DRM free version of the game we could just steal, and we could just opt out of the patch, and we just keep playing the single player. Because look, don't bullshit yourself. You're not playing this game for its fucking multiplayer. I don't want to hear it. Don't even cap. Don't ever pretend for a single fucking second that the multiplayer is the main reason you play this game. We're all in it for the single player. Don't lie, right? So it's like, dude, you couldn't leave well enough alone. But we want to have blind faith in games. I could look over on my Discord right now. I'm not fuck. Maybe I should name drop them, right? Because I already name drop the oh my god, the infamous Ryan. So like I was talking to definitely not a friend. I mean, not because I hate him, but because I just met the fucking guy. But I was talking to another YouTuber by the name of Moonlight Ninja on fucking Discord, and I just met him, and you're talking about like doing a collab with one of my friends who's also a YouTuber. He has way more subscribers than I do, like 300 something subscribers and stuff. So they're talking about doing collabs and stuff, and I said basically what I'm saying right now, not about Doom, but like games in general and fucking Killer Instinct, like why you shouldn't just buy games. Maybe you should assume that the game is shit before you buy it, that something bad's going to happen, and then be pleasantly surprised when it doesn't, right? So you don't shit like this doesn't happen to you. It happens to everybody else who is an obnoxious, naive cocksucker, but not necessarily you, right? And he wanted to talk shit about me behind my back and all this other stuff. But the thing that gets me is that he called me an idiot and a retard for what I said. Well, who's the fucking retard, right? When now that Doom Eternal has been broken and you're bitching about Killer Instinct way after the fucking fact, like anyone gives a shit about what was that game came out 2013? Oh, I got banned from the servers 4 years ago. Who cares, right? point being, it's like, who's the dumbass here? I'm not the one who got suckered out of $60, but everybody else who bought into this shit did. Now, I can sit up here and point my finger and laugh at Doom players. I mean, I guess I kind of am, right? Because, like, ha ha, you're a corporate cocksucker. You hype up garbage, right? But at the end of the day, they did, in fact, fuck with their consumer base. And you can sit up here and make the excuse that it doesn't affect you because, oh, I play on console, so it doesn't fucking affect me, so who cares? But that's not an excuse for the PC version to might as well not even fucking exist if it's going to consistently be the worst version of a fucking game. Aside from maybe the ability to put in mods where they constantly feel the need to fuck over PC gamers with DRM and all this other shit that just makes buying and playing games on PC a fucking disaster, right? It continues to be fucking terrible for PC gamers. I don't understand. But it doesn't affect me, so who cares? Well, one of these days when they do this shit on consoles or they patch something into the console version of the game that makes it play like shit or whatever, then it'll be your fucking problem, right? Because the logic is the same regardless, and if you pay money to them, that's another reason I'm not too positive about buying the game or even playing the game. I don't want to support Bethesda in general as a publisher because they're willing to do shit like this. I have I think one Bethesda game. What was it? Wet for the PS3. I think that was published by Bethesda. But other than that, I don't have a lot of or any fucking Bethesda games, and I might be willing to give their games a try. But why would I want to support a company that feels like it's okay to fuck people over like that? You got to do your research. You have to assume the worst. You have to be more frugal with the games that you buy and what you're willing to endure, what you're willing to pay for, right? Or you can sit up here and spend 60 goddamn dollars or 60 plus, right? 60 plus goddamn dollars. Because I gotta get my diorama and the disc and blah 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 for triple A trash, which is what Doom Eternal officially is. I tried to warn you, but what do you get when you put blind faith in fucking Bethesda of all companies? You get what you fucking deserve. Right, so that probably could have been ad-libbed better, but I think it's safe to say that that's all I have to say on the matter. And you guys just continue eating your shit in peace, because I didn't buy this fucking game, so I kind of don't care. Right? Doesn't affect me. Right?